Hey there, Corey here with the Spiritual Archaeologist channel, and today we're digging up the treasures of Matt today. Matt is another friend that came and visited me after he passed away, and he taught me some of the most enlightening lessons that I've ever learned and that I carry with me to this day. And today I really would love to share these treasures with you. So here we go. It was the storm of 2003, snowstorm of 2003 in Colorado, and in the Colorado mountains. Town 2, I guess, got hit. But anyway, Matt was out helping his neighbors all morning. People couldn't get to the store. It was epic. It was like, I don't know, 5 feet of snow, and it was just nobody could get anywhere. And he had a snowmobile, and he was helping this neighbor. I think he went and got her groceries and got her home, and he was out playing on his snowmobile, and no cars were out, or so he thought, and he was riding his snowmobile up this road, and he came around a blind curve, and he was looking back, admiring the rooster tail off of his snowmobile, and he hit a truck head on, and it flung him off of the snowmobile and into the bank, and he broke his neck instantly and died. And I think he was only 34 years old at the time when this happened. I was like 32. We were very close in age, and it killed him. The reason I know how it happened is another friend of ours, and Matt was a sober friend of mine. He was part of my sober group of friends, and he was clean. He had a real bad meth addiction, and he was clean from it for quite a few years before he passed, and he got to pass clean, which I think is such a blessing. I think it's much more important to live sober and clean than to die, but to die sober and clean is pretty important too, right? If you're like me, anyway, it is. So another friend of ours was behind the truck that hit him, and he saw the whole thing, and he was absolutely traumatized, and he told me exactly what had happened. So that's how I know the details of what had happened. So we end up a week later going to our friend's funeral, and it was full of people I knew. We ran in the same circle, and I'm sitting there listening to the minister give the service, and I hear this laughter going on. It's like they like to stand right over my shoulder. I don't know why, but that's what happens. So he's standing here laughing in my ear, and he's telling me, the guy's trying to describe it, but he just doesn't get it. He doesn't understand. There's absolutely nothing to be afraid of. It is so beautiful and blissful here. Words cannot describe. And when somebody who has passed, at least this is my experience, when they are talking to me, and he was coming across to me telepathically, but when they are talking to me, I feel all of the emotion that they are bringing into the situation. It just ends up in my body. I can feel it. I can feel it running through me. And when he's talking about how beautiful it is, and how wonderful and how blissful and how like nirvana it is, I can feel what he's feeling. And it's really intense. It's words cannot describe, okay? Well, I was in early sobriety at this time. I was in my 6-year in and out at this time is where I was. Yep. I was at the end of the in and out for 6 years. And he was real big on, you need to do these tasks that you said you were going to do in order to stay sober. And, you know, I was so damn rebellious. I still am. If you tell me to do something, I'm not going to do it just on principle because you told me to, right? That's how I roll. So he's saying to me, you need to do this stuff. And I'm like, shut up. It's none of your business, you know. I'm always arguing with these damn ghosts in my life. It's just the way it goes, but it's fun, you know. And so one night I'm supposed to be doing this task, And it concerns me owning responsibility for my drunken wreck of a life. And I don't want to do it. Can you imagine that? I don't want to do it. So I'm watching TV instead. And what happens? The TV turns off. And I already know he's around because he followed me from the funeral. And so I know he's there, This is how it works for me. They flit in, they flit out. I said that in the Bill video. And it's just how it goes. So the TV turns off and I'm all, And I didn't have a remote for this TV, so I'm having to do old school. Get out of bed, get up, turn the damn thing back on. And I'm like, I'll teach you. So I turn it back on, and what happens? It goes off again. Well, thank you. So I ended up doing the darn work that I said I was going to do. And I don't know if it helped or not. I still went out a few times after that. But all these are seeds being planted, right? So he won that battle. And another big problem he had with me was that I smoked. He's like, you don't understand. You don't see what I see. You have to quit smoking. You cannot keep smoking. This is going to get you. And I was like, shut up. And for 2 weeks, I have my cigarettes and my lighter, right? For 2 weeks, every time I tried to smoke a cigarette, either my cigarettes were completely lost, and I found them tucked in the weirdest places, places I would have never have put them, okay? And so either I can't find my cigarettes, or I can't find my lighter. And it's him. It's him trying to get me to quit smoking. And I'm so dang rebellious that was, I didn't quit until 2009. And I crossed the line, and I got diagnosed with early onset emphysema, and I'm on inhalers now. And, I'm okay with where I'm at, and I'm not going to get into a bunch of details, but he told me, he warned me, and I pretty much gave him the bird, like, I don't want to hear it. And I kept smoking, and I smoked myself into the hospital, and now I'm paying for it. And, he went out of his way to try to warn me. So, they care about us. They love us. They want the best for us. And they want us to be happy and healthy and strong and prosperous. And so anyway, onward now. And there were 2 other things that he taught me. He was telling me how hard it was that he was never going to see his parents again. And that he had to adjust to being dead just as much as we had to adjust to him dying, him crossing over. And that never occurred to me. I found that very mind-blowing that he actually had to adjust to it. And his death was so sudden. He was alive one moment, he was gone the next. And maybe that had something to do with it. He had absolutely no time to prepare for it whatsoever. So he did tell me that. He said it was really hard. He was having a very hard time, and that people couldn't hear him. And he told me another thing, and he said, it doesn't matter if they can't hear me, I'm still going to be there. It doesn't matter if they can't feel me, I'm still going to be there. And he taught me the neatest thing. And this is probably one of the most wonderful things I've ever been taught by any of the spirits that have visited me. He said that he could be this, I'm going to describe it as best as I can, and he described it as best as he could. Words cannot do it, just some things words fall short. He said he could be at this point of consciousness, and that from this point of consciousness he could flow out and have all these lines of consciousness, and he could have a piece of him. He could be present with every single person that he ever loved and that ever loved him simultaneously. He could be with everybody. And he said that the love that flowed out from this point of consciousness through all these lines was so intense and so magical, and that the love he was getting back was all flowing back to this point of consciousness. And I think in the Bill video, I spoke about how when somebody visits us, we feel, we feel so intensely. We feel what they're, oh, well, I was talking about it earlier in this video, duh, Corey, when he was describing the nirvana, you can feel them on an emotional level. And when he was describing this, I just had chills running up and down my body. And, I think that he said his parents couldn't hear him. He couldn't reach them when he was trying to visit them, but that he could see. He could actually see the weight come off of them when he was with them. Like, they can give us this sense of peace and comfort, and just a moment of it's okay, and that's them. That is them doing that. And even though that they couldn't hear him, they felt that. So that's the dig of Matt. And, he made me laugh. He was a real jokester in life. And what's funny is I stayed away. I tend to stay away from men because I have a man and I don't want to incite jealousy and I don't want to come across with the wrong message. So he was strictly an acquaintance of mine, but he was funny because I heard him share all the time when we would hang out with our like-minded sober and clean friends, and he cracked me up. And then after I got to know him better after he passed away, he was hilarious, and I'd be sitting there giggling with a ghost, and I would try really hard to compose myself when other people were around. But at night when nobody was around, it was really easy in the evening time before Greg got home from work to just sit there and bust a gut, and he just made me laugh and laugh and laugh. And so that's another thing, they totally bring themselves with them, and it's the coolest thing in the world. So I hope you like this dig. I want to look at my note, make sure I got everything. Yep, I said it all about Matt. And he touched my life in such a way that he changed it. And each and every visit I get changes me and makes me better. They don't, of course I'm always startled. I'm always, every single time I'm startled by it. But I ease into it, and I have the experience, and I have the exchange, and if they need me to do something, I do it. He really needed me to do what I said I was going to do to get myself sober. And even though I didn't get sober at that time in my life, I did get sober a few years later, and I did quit smoking a few years later. But I don't quit anything out of virtue. I quit it out of pain because I don't want to be in pain anymore. So yeah, what a cool dig. This has been such a fun dig for me, and I really hope that you benefit from me sharing it. And if you did, please give me a like down below and subscribe to my channel and come on more digs with me, because there's so much more to come. Thanks. Have a great day.